Did you see what I put for the spoiler warning? Feel free to change it, but that was the first thing that came to mind. They were really loving his thighs, as was I.
That are broken rackets, yeah.
Or I was going to try to do droplets of sweat, beads of sweat, but I didn't know how to word it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beads of sweat.
Is it beads?
It's beads.
But how would you word like this? This conversation has more spoilers than beads of sweat on a tennis court.
This conversation has more spoilers than beads of sweat shots off of John Connor's thighs.
I don't know.
John O'Connor?
Josh O'Connor.
Josh. Goodbye.
John O'Connor, if you're out there, call it.
Poor John. Driving his car. Huh?
Oh, me?
Me? Looking down at his
I'm not
crotch.
sweaty.
Hello, and welcome once more Unhinged. This is our weekly chat show where we get together and discuss what we're reading, what we're watching, what we're engaging in this week. I am Ryan something.
And I'm Jen Katz.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Ryan.
How are you today?
I'm great. Just got off the court. My backswing is...
I could tell you're super sweaty.
Welcome to Unhinged.
Welcome to Unhinged.
Yeah, so we are going to be talking about challengers. We just saw this literally as of today. We watched this film yesterday.
Yes. Less than 24 hours ago. No. Yeah, 24 hours ago.
Yes.
Fresh
off the brain. We got tickets. We went to the Alamo Drafthouse. Shout out Alamo Drafthouse. Would love to do a Once More podcast collaboration with the Alamo Drafthouse. We love them.
Wouldn't want to watch a movie anyplace else.
No, we actually have to drive because we don't have one in our town. So we have to drive to Austin. That's right. All right. Let's get into it.
Spoiler warning.
Would you like a spoiler jingle?
This week, we'll be discussing the 2024 film Challengers.
Hell yeah, we are.
This conversation has more spoilers than beads of sweat on Josh O'Connor's thighs in the film. You've been warned.
Okay.
Sweet, folks.
We are here today to discuss Challengers.
Okay.
2024 film directed by Luca Guadagnino from a screenplay written by Justin Kuritzkis and stars Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, and Mike Feist. Yep. So, Challengers is about Tashi, played by Zendaya, a tennis player turned coach. She's transformed her husband, Art Donaldson, Mike Feist, from a mediocre player into a world-famous Grand Slam champion. To jolt him out of his recent losing streak, she makes him play a challenger event. Do you see the thing that's...
I see what they did there.
That's the title of the movie. Which is close to the lowest level of tournament on the Pro Tour. Tensions soon run high when he finds himself standing across the net from the once promising, now burnt out Patrick Zweig, played by Josh O'Connor, his former best friend and Tashi's former boyfriend, arguably also his former boyfriend. Yes. But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This film, I mean... I don't even know how you begin.
Okay. It's billed as sex.
Yeah, I mean, all the trailers had the famous scene of Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, and Mike Feist in the hotel room.
From the get-go.
Yeah, where they're kissing her neck. And
yeah, that was the movie poster. That was the promotion. That was like the tease to get you to go see it.
Didn't one of the early trailers or teasers have Rihanna's S&M in it?
I think so.
Yeah. And so you're like, we're going to see some threesomes.
Yeah. You're thinking this is a movie about a threesome. This is a throuple kind of on the hinge of becoming something or not becoming something. We talked about erotic thriller, manipulation. And there are aspects of that throughout this film. But, so the meat of the movie is something else. Okay.
I'm a total brilliant. Sorry, continue. This is very, very brilliant.
So the meat of the movie is quite prevalent throughout the film.
It is.
But yeah, it's not what you expect it to be. And that's what we're here to talk about. Yeah.
So you're dropped into the world.
You're dropped into now.
Yes.
You're dropped into present day. And
Patrick,
that's really kind of down on his luck, or at least it appears to be. He's signed up for a tournament. We don't know exactly what kind, a challenger, but he's found, I guess, sleeping in his car.
Right. He's trying to get in a hotel room. He's trying to charm the receptionist. He's like offering to sign a racket, to sell her a racket.
Yeah. So you can tell he's down on his luck.
Down on his luck.
They almost set it up where you feel sorry for him.
You do. Like you're this poor guy down on his luck. And then even his outfit, he's wearing like these plaid Nike shorts that basically look like glorified boxers to me.
Yeah.
Kind of like a scruffy.
It looks like he came out of a thrift shop, or he's been wearing the same clothes for the past 15 years.
That's where I took it. Like he can't afford a hotel room or breakfast. So he's had those shorts since 15 years ago.
Sure.
Compared to Art, who he is playing. Immediately we kind of cut to from this montage of him trying to get a hotel room, sleeping in his car. Then he's playing against Art Donaldson, who is wearing the flashiest clothes, looks in good shape, looks clean, like has his shit together.
The introduction of two characters. I love the story building in this regard. And then we get the two of them. I guess it's a flashback. And this is where the film kind of loses me, is so many different present day 12 years ago, present day 11 years ago, present day 6 months ago, present day. And
so we see Patrick, who's scruffy, obviously broke, burnt out. Art, who's doing well enough to have like a racket endorsement.
Yeah.
And he looks clean cut. And then we see Zendaya's character, Tashi,
she's wearing designer.
She's wearing Chanel shoes, sitting courtside.
Center court. Yeah.
And you can already, the way they frame the shot, it's like a triangle between them.
Yeah.
Tashi's at the top, obviously.
That kind of stuff was great.
And then goes, to Patrick and Art. And then we flash back 13 years.
I think 13. Yeah.
Yeah. Where we meet them. They're bros, best friends, playing in a doubles tournament, ribbing each other.
Yeah.
And they go watch.
And they are very close and very physical with one another.
They are.
From the get-go.
Yeah. So they go and they watch Tashi, played by Zendaya, play a match. And she's
is it Patrick? Patrick's like, Art, you got to see this guy.
Yes. She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life.
And she comes out, and of course the music's playing. The music is its own character.
It is.
In this movie. And the music starts in this scene.
I like it now, but towards
great.
the end, I'm ready for this character to.
So here she comes. She looks fire because Zendaya looks good in everything she wears.
To echo what Patrick said, Zendaya is one of the most beautiful women to ever walk the face of the earth. The fact that I have to live on this planet while Zendaya is walking around is unfair.
Listen.
And I have nothing but love for her. She's just beautiful. And I bought her as a tennis player. I'm not a tennis player, but watching her, I was like, she's an athlete. She looks like one.
If she saw you, she'd probably say the same.
Yeah, no. Anyway, so Tashi destroys this other player. And what does she yell? She goes, come on! Yeah.
Like she lets out a guttural.
Ooh.
I mean, it
gave me chills.
It gave Patrick more than chills. Patrick and Art both.
Well, yeah.
So, okay.
And he grabs Art's leg.
Grabs Art's leg, and then that's when Patrick reaches over and grabs his leg right there.
Okay. So I think that's where I do love the way this movie threads the do they, don't they, in terms of their physical attraction to one another.
Right.
I think personally, and we kind of see it a little bit later, I think Patrick is definitely attracted to Art and is more open about it. I think Art is too straight-laced, but he enjoys the kiss, which we'll get to.
I think Art is attracted to Pat. I think that there is something there in the relationship, but I agree with what you're saying, which is Patrick is more open about it, not fully, but more open about it in just how he feels, just very natural.
He's
in
a
how
natural
he is
person,
with Art,
versus
Art who clearly feels it and it's there. But he is much more reserved. Like, I can't show it.
He's almost uncomfortable when we get to the...
Right. He's uncomfortable with his feelings.
Right. And so we get to where they go to this party. That's Tashi's. I think it's her it's like an Adidas brand party.
Yeah.
They introduce themselves, and the chemistry with all three of them is electric pretty much from the beginning. Also a little awkward. And this is one of the things I like about Patrick. Patrick he's a challenger. He's not just going to walk away because she's walked away. They sit and wait at this party and they invite her to go smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're having all kind of back and forth. Patrick goes for it immediately. He's like, are you on Facebook? Can I get your number?
I love this scene when they go to the beach. Okay, so they're mixing and mingling at the party, and she's like, see you later. They're like, we'll stick around. How long are we going to stick around? Patrick, they see her again. They're like, hey, you want to go to the beach? She's like, yeah, let's blow this party. They go to the beach, and I love this scene because they're setting up the three of them.
Yeah.
Both of the boys are sitting in their lounge chairs or kind of lounging whatever they're sitting. I guess they're lounge
like
chairs.
Adirondacks, I think.
Yeah. She is sitting like on a rock with the moon behind her.
She looks like a mermaid with her long hair.
She looks like a mermaid.
Yeah.
And it is just this scene where both of them are just visualizing like her as like this goddess before them.
Yeah.
And both of them at the same time. You can tell the looks on their face, the way this is set up, they are both absolutely smitten with her.
Yeah. And this is one of, I think, the brilliant parts of the direction from Luca Guadagnino. He did Call Me By Your Name, which that movie is a brilliant movie. Army Hammer aside, because we don't have time to get into that individual, but he's so visually intentional.
Right.
And they invite her to come back to the hotel room. And I love, the line before that. She's like, oh, do you need me to tuck you in? And it's just getting more and more tense.
His response was just great. I mean, it was perfect. And it was absolutely very sincere and genuine. He said, no, just come over and talk about, so we can continue to talk about tennis some more, because he was just smitten with who she is. Yes, it was clear he's physically attracted to her.
Yeah.
That was the first thing he said. She's the most beautiful person in the world. Then she opened her mouth and started talking, and he realized that he connected with her so much that for him, it's the challenger thing. Like, tennis is life. This is all I know. They repeatedly make reference to making a living with a ball and a racket, and they know nothing else.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I loved his response. I mean, it was very genuine, the way he looked at her, the way he said it, the delivery, the timing was just like, wow, he's in this moment, he's head over heels.
Yeah.
And it's not it's not fully physical.
I think Patrick's probably not my favorite. Tashi's probably my favorite character, but I really like Patrick and Josh O'Connor's portrayal of Patrick. But
yeah, I do too.
So we cut to the hotel, and one of the things that I was going to say about Luca Guadagnino's direction is that hotel room looks like a real hotel room. The floor is disgusting. Yeah. It is so dirty, and that's all intentional. Yeah. This world feels very lived in.
Right. It's totally where they're going to put some teenagers up for like some sort of challenger tournament.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a grungy hotel. It's not nice. And she comes in, and this is the scene that's been, all over the trailers, all over the internet, and it doesn't go the way you think it does, in a good way. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I wanted to see that scene in like full entirety. I
think she wanted to see it too. I think the whole reason that she knew why she showed up.
Yeah.
She looked at both of them before she left the beach.
Well, she said, I don't want to break up a home.
And they're like, no, it's not like that. She's like kind of weighing her options. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
I see what they're maybe asking, and she's considering it.
Yeah.
And then they're wondering, they're waiting up. They're like, will she, won't she? Will she, won't she? Will she, won't she? And they're, flipping cards. And it's just like this movie is great about building up the tension.
Yes. It's a very tense movie. And they talk, and they're drinking a beer, which is a very teenager thing. They're all sharing one beer. And she has them come up on the bed. She starts kissing Art and starts kissing Patrick, and they all start kissing together. And then she puts their heads together, and they start making out. Yeah. And we're like, all right, here we go. And then she stands up and is like, all right, gotta go.
She's clearly more into Art. That was kind of the impression that I keep getting with all of her, if you look at the physical acting between that moment and when they met her at the party, and you kind of see her weigh the option when she looks at Patrick, and then she looks at Art, and she goes into Art. And I was like, I knew she was going to go in for Art, because she's made it clear in some of her statements. She's asking Art more questions. She knows more about him than she does Patrick.
Yeah, I disagree that she's more into Art. I think she's more into Patrick, but Patrick challenges her, and she wants to be the challenger, and she knows Art isn't going to challenge her.
I think throughout the movie, I think she does develop that with Patrick, but I think at the beginning, she's in it for Art. They ask for the number. She's like, well, I'll give it to you, but I won't give it to him, or something like that. And it was like, oh, interesting. So she wanted to give it to Art.
Well, didn't Patrick ask first?
Yeah, but I think maybe him having a girlfriend.
Yeah, and so
just great. Okay, so they're
can't go beat by.
Sorry.
Yeah, we can't go beat by beat.
I know, it's getting exciting.
I know. So they're Art and Patrick are fully making out, and they seem to be enjoying it. I took it as, and I think again we mentioned a minute ago, Patrick, someone who's probably just into anything. Mm-hmm. He's so at ease with himself.
Sure.
He's like, cool.
He's open.
I'll do this. Yeah. And to see Art kind of let loose was cool. They were definitely into it.
Yeah.
Well, she gets up and she's like, hey, no, I got to go. They're like, what do you mean? Can we get your number? And she says, I'll tell you what, whoever wins, because they have a match against each other, whoever wins tomorrow can have my number. And she tells him she wants to see some good fucking tennis.
And that line.
Chekhov's gun right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all going to come back full circle on that line.
Yeah. And so
I think she left because I think she was down for whatever was going to happen. Then she quickly realized like these two fools are in their own little world. And she's like, okay, I'm out. I'll see you guys in the morning. You also got something else going on here.
This is one of my quibbles with the movie is they said, I don't think it was because she thought there was something else going on. I think it was she wants to be in control of the situation. And by basically dangling the carrot of getting her number and herself, she's keeping that control going. I think she is such a controlled person. Mm-hmm. She gets off on that. Mm-hmm. And they kind of fumble the bag with that a little bit, I think, later on, because she's kind of going back and forth. But to me made me, I was like, oh, she's going to manipulate this entire thing.
That's where I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
But if she was kind of like laying back and this scene kind of goes a little longer than maybe it should have, these two making out, which is great.
I think it's control. She's getting off on the back. She made them do that.
Then she's like, no, okay, I'm out.
Yeah,
I don't see you guys in the morning.
Okay, to the match. And we see that Patrick wins. He wins. He's going to get Tashi's number. Patrick is the better player, like in terms of just raw talent. Patrick's one of those people that just could pick up a tennis racket probably, and he's good.
But he squanders it. So Patrick does have this this talent.
Yeah, he's really good. And Art is not bad, but Art really, it seems like he has to try more. He's not as confident. Patrick is so confident in everything.
Art's not confident, and he needs someone else to bring it out of him.
Yes.
Like his attraction to his friend, his
attraction to Tashi.
His attraction to Tashi and his talent.
Yep.
He can't do it on his own. He's got to have other people validating that it's okay.
Yeah. I love this next scene. We have to talk about it again. We're not going to talk about every scene, but Patrick and Art are practicing. They go to the gym practice area. Sorry. And Art's like, did you sleep with her? Come on, tell me. And Patrick's like, no, I'm not telling you anything. I'm not saying anything. He's like, okay, if you slept with her, I want you to serve like I do. Because Patrick, everybody has their own serve.
Yeah.
And Patrick's like, no, man, I'm not going to confirm or deny. They go back and forth. But when Patrick picks up the tennis ball, he holds it like
he has to think about it. He's like, do I want to kiss and tell, or do I not? Do I want to keep this to myself?
Well, he does.
Can't help himself.
Art's signature move, which is to like bounce the ball and hold the ball at like the neck of the racket.
Right.
Basically, he confirms that he and Tashi slept together. So they go to Stanford, and it's like a year or so later, Tashi and Patrick are still together, and Art decides he's going to kind of fuck with it. And he tells Tashi, basically insinuates that Patrick's sleeping with other people, insinuates to Patrick that Tashi's not really into him.
Patrick's on tour. Patrick's not.
Oh, yeah. Patrick didn't go to college. Yeah. And Patrick comes to watch a match, and they get into a huge fight, he and Tashi, and he storms out.
Art poisons the well.
He poisons the well.
Yeah.
And it's really sad because at this match, Tashi destroys her knee, has a catastrophic knee injury, but guess who's there to pick up the pieces?
Imagine that.
Snake. And Art and Tashi.
Snake, because it was an intentional move.
Yes. It
was planned.
You said it. He poisoned the well, and he got to pick up the pieces after her injury. They become close. And then, like you mentioned earlier, we're going back and forth in time. We're cutting to present day.
Yeah, they keep cutting back to the tournament. The night before the tournament.
Right. I think at this point in the movie, we learn that Patrick has won the first set in present day. And the movie kind of progresses with Tashi is a coach. She can't play. Her knee is too destroyed. She cannot play anymore. She's a coach. And Art is going pro. He's doing his thing. We're seeing the burnout start already. I think they make comments like, how's coasting on your raw talent doing for you? Because he's coasting. And Tashi and Art begin a relationship. He hires her at the Applebee's. They go have dinner at Applebee's, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he hires her to be his coach.
I guess, what does she basically ask him? Like, do you still love me?
Yeah, because this is what, 3, the timeline gets a little wibbly wobbly.
Colluded, but we know that they're out of college, that he's turned pro, that she is coaching another pro, and he runs into her, or it's planned. I can't remember how they get together.
I can't remember how they get together.
They go to dinner.
Oh, they're at a tournament, and she goes and is watching him being coached, and she waves at him, and then we cut to Applebee's.
That was it, right? Cut to Applebee's, and so he's like, "Hey, we can coach." It's like, "Hey, you look amazing."
Yeah, and they smooch. And
then they get married and they have a kid.
Yeah.
Okay. Timeline moves back forward again.
Yes, they get married and have a kid, and
they're the power couple.
They are. They've got what's the big billboard that they have on side of the buildings that, like, for Audi?
Right. Yeah.
Like, they're doing brand deals. He's obviously been successful. He's maybe not so much anymore because he's doing this Challenger event. And we learn that Patrick and Tashi met up in Atlanta.
Yeah. So this comes later in the movie.
Yeah.
And Patrick, I guess, runs into Tashi in the elevator bay at a hotel while he's on a blind date because he needs someplace to sleep.
Oh, and that's present day.
This present day.
Yeah.
And Tashi's like, "Hey, you need to leave us alone. We don't want anything to do with you."
Yeah.
And I guess at this point, was it this conversation that he says, "Oh, is this because did he sign up for this tournament because you asked him to, or did he sign up for this tournament because you told him about Atlanta?"
Yeah. And we're like,
and
Atlanta?
Like, what happened in Atlanta? And where does this fall in the timeline? And then we get Atlanta.
Which is 3 years before present day.
I don't know. It bounces all around. But long story short, there's an open in Atlanta.
Yes. And Patrick's playing, Art's playing. He sees Tashi. Patrick's walking by the hotel. Tashi is drinking a whiskey
drinking her sorrows away over something
we never find out, but she obviously looks distressed.
Yeah. Well, I think we find out.
Why? She's just not happy?
Yeah. What's everything that Patrick said?
Does he say that then, or is this later on in present day when they're
later
in the
on
car?
In present day, but I think she's living it. She's experiencing it.
Patrick walks in. They don't even say anything. Like we were saying, she looks kind of just sad. And there's tennis on the TV. And he just puts his hands on hers. And they start making out in front of God and everybody in this bar. And Art comes down from the hotel room. He walks to the bar. He sees them talking. But then someone approaches him. It's like, "Oh, Art, will you sign my hat?" And when he turns around, they're gone. They're gone. So not explicitly said, but they go off and have sex. For sure. Okay. So we're again going back and forth between now and present day. In present day, Art has won the second match. So they're tied. Okay. Patrick's won one. Art's won the other one. And they have a daughter. They're married. They have a daughter, Art and Tashi. And Patrick, even though Tashi has told him to leave them alone, approaches Tashi and wants to talk to her. They go back out behind the hotel. He's like, "Hey, I want you to coach me." And I love this scene. Zendaya slaps the shit out of Josh O'Connor.
Yeah,
and
she was completely offended.
She's like, "How dare you?" Gives him the business. And then he gives her the business.
Loved it.
And basically, what does he say about, like,
he just calls her out.
Yeah, you are unhappy. Art is going to retire. Yeah. Then what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Because this is what you need.
Yeah.
You've got to be in control. You've got to be telling someone what to do, how it is.
And this is your avatar to tennis, because she can't play anymore.
That's it. It's her avatar to tennis.
And he's like, "Look, I could get one good season. I could do it. I need you to coach me."
He's showing her that he still has the drive.
Yeah.
That he's got the want. He's got the desire. It's the same fire that she has in her that he can see.
Mm-hmm.
that they both share. So he sees it. He's calling her out on it. She doesn't like what she hears.
No.
And most people, when you tell them the truth,
they don't like it.
They don't want to hear it. The scene was one of the best.
Zendaya deserves all the award. So one line, though, that I wanted to call out, and we'll talk about it when we get to our like what we liked, what we didn't like. Tashi tells Patrick, cut the starving artist shit out. Call your parents.
Yeah. No, I mean, she
get some money from your parents. She's like, this living in your car, sleeping in your car bullshit. It's alluding to the fact that his parents have money and would probably help him if he so chose to do that.
Patrick went straight for the jugular and she went straight back. She's like, what's the thing that's going to hurt him the most?
And he writes his number down on a piece of paper and says, if you change your mind, call me. And what does she do with it?
I know, this is great. She has the opportunity to like really be like, oh, fuck you. I mean what I mean. And
rip it in half.
I told you to leave us alone. Puts it in her pocket.
She could have just threw it on the ground like trash.
It for a rainy day.
Or a windy day, as we'll find out.
Is it ever?
Oh, excuse me. You can see in the subsequent scenes that Tashi, she's rattled.
Yeah.
And got confused.
It's the night before the final round.
So they did break it up.
The next day is the day, right? When they're in the bedroom.
See, but I couldn't tell because
when she's in the bedroom, she's putting her lotion on.
I think
she's like, hey, he's worried. He's like, hey, I think no matter what happens tomorrow, I'm going to retire.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, you can do what you want. She's just dissociated, right. Deadpan.
But yeah, no, she ends up telling him, she's like, hey, if you don't win tomorrow, I will leave you.
I will leave you.
Right. So that was the night before.
Okay. So the night before the match, basically all the cards are laid on the table. She says she's going to leave him. If he doesn't win, they start to have sex, but they initiate like sex. They're kissing. You think that's where it's going to go. And then they just stop. And he asks if she'll hold him until he falls asleep.
Right. No, and he's seeking validation from her from the get-go.
And she can't give it.
Can I retire? She's like, I don't know. After her conversation with Patrick, then she's like hypersensitive. So she's like, I don't know. You can do whatever you want. It's
you're a grown man.
Yeah, you're a grown man. And he can't. That's not working. Like, I need you to tell me it'll be okay if I retire.
I'll love you and support you.
And then I'll love you and support you. And she's like, you don't need me to tell you that. And then he just kind of like stares at her and she realizes Patrick was right.
Yep.
And the cherry on top for the conversation and for Patrick and for her, the breaking point was, will you just stay and hold me until I fall asleep?
Yeah.
And it takes everything within her to say yes, but she knows that he needs that.
She doesn't want to.
She doesn't want to. And that's where we get afterwards, after he has fallen asleep. She's like, I can't do this.
I can't do this. So she calls Patrick. And Patrick picks her up in front of the Four Seasons, and there's like a windstorm happening. There's just like trash and debris.
I love that she gets in the back like an Uber.
He's like, what are you doing? It's like, I told him you were my Uber driver. Go.
No one cares.
They challenge
their
each other. Their
chemistry is great. The two of them together probably would have been just as much of a power couple. Yeah. Probably a little bit toxic, but you know what? They would have been themselves.
Yeah.
They are all failed people. They are all broken.
They're messy.
They are messy, and none of them are perfect as characters. And in fact, I end up liking each of them less as the movie kind of went on. But then I also am cheering for them to find that resolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Tashi asks Patrick, throw the match. She's like, Art needs to win. Because she also knows it would, it would devastate him if she leaves him. She also wants him to stay on top. And I think there is a part of her at this point. They have a child. Selfish, yeah. She wants to
finish this season.
Keep her family together.
She made it clear.
Yeah. She wants him. She wants her life the way that it is.
Right.
Husband who's on top. She's the wife of a, top pro. She's an in-demand coach. She's got a daughter. They're staying at the Four Seasons. Okay. She's not ready to live in the suburbs and be a wife.
She doesn't know what she would do.
No. And Patrick basically tells her to fuck off. He's like
straight through it.
Yeah, he's not going to do it. And then he just sees how upset she's getting, and he finally basically says, I'll do it. And then the music in this scene. No, this is when the choral music starts.
Oh, right. This is when The Water Is Wide starts playing.
Yeah, and I don't like it.
This is in the parking lot.
This is in the parking lot.
After
and he taunts her too.
He's like, take me back to the hotel, and they stop at a parking lot on the way. She's like, just pull over.
And he's taunting her about fucking him.
Right.
And he's like, you came here and fucked me. She's like, oh, I'll do it if that's what it takes for you to throw the match.
Right. Yeah.
They're just yelling at each other, and she spits in his face.
Hot.
And then they start making out.
Hot.
And they have sex.
And it was all great except for the soundtrack. It was the choral, the sing levy do, the water and the wine. I think it's a New Year's song.
It is.
If I recall correctly.
Yeah, it is. And Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who did the score for this movie, are brilliant. It's a good score and a good soundtrack. I just don't think it was always used in the best ways. I think a lot of music was overused, underused.
It was interesting how they used the soundtrack. I can't quite put my finger on whether or not I'm happy about it or I dislike it, because there's so much of it that I like. And even the use, I'm with you. Like, I understand it. Some things seemed overused.
Yeah.
But I almost wonder if maybe we're missing something. Maybe I'm missing something, because it did provide, it did make me very anxious, or it did indicate that
tension.
Something's happening.
Yeah.
Or tension, or, but I also believe that they could have expressed some of that just through the writing and through the characters.
Yeah.
And not need the music to knock you over the head and be like, they're getting ready to fuck.
Right. Exactly. No, I'm with you. That's why I say it was overused.
Yeah.
And the choral music, if you are out there and you understand it, please write in oncemorepodcast@gmail.com or DM us on socials, because I was confused. I was befuddled.
Yeah.
So they have sex. They go back to the hotel. Well, Tasha goes back to the hotel room.
They have good sex because they cuddle in the backseat afterwards.
Oh my God. Yes. They have such good chemistry.
They do.
She goes back to the hotel room and she notices that Art at some point has gotten up and is in bed with their daughter. So Art is aware that she wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the match and it is so tense because we don't know what's going to happen. It seems at first that Patrick is going to throw it. And
this is one of the most tense moments of any film that I've ever seen. And I've seen some tense films, but they drag this out.
Yes.
They get every square inch of this tension.
Yeah.
I mean, you experience all of it.
Right.
I thought you were going to come out of your seat.
I was about to.
You were so scoring.
So tense and so uncomfortable. And, it's down to the moment. And Patrick's getting ready to serve. And it's a callback to that scene. He serves the ball, holds it the way Patrick does.
And then Art just...
I'm sorry. Yeah, he serves it the way Art does.
Patrick serves it the way Art does.
And he's
thinking, there's lots of eye contact between him and Zendaya. There's lots of eye contact between Zendaya and Art. And it's
a triangle.
Back and forth. And then I love the camera shots where it's literally like her at the top of these and these two. It's a triangle.
Yeah. And...
So he holds the ball.
And then he looks at Art and does...
Art knows.
He confirms that they've had sex. And Art just dissociates. And then he yells, what does he say? Fuck off! And
he's like, oh, fuck off.
The poor, the line judge or whoever.
The line judge, give him an Oscar for his performance.
I love that guy.
He was
great. Amazing.
Whoever you are, we'd love to have you on the podcast.
We'd love to have you on the podcast.
Just for coffee or drinks.
He seems so cool. So... But that is what Art needed. Now there has been a fire lit under Art, and those two go at it. Okay, so they're going back and forth. Everybody's tense. Zendaya's character, Tashi, is watching it, following each movement. They get up to the net, and you think Art wins. I thought Patrick won, but you're right.
No, I didn't say Art wins.
Oh, I thought you...
No, I think Art misses... He goes in for the kill, but when they show the scene of him in the air, and Patrick at the line, Art's racket clearly looks like it's getting ready to miss the ball, and Art is not looking at the ball. Art is looking at Patrick, and he collapses into this embrace.
So
I think Patrick wins.
Don't actually see the final point.
We don't see the final point made. We don't see him hit the ball. We just see him collapse into Patrick's arms, and
they're smiling,
and they're friends again.
And Zendaya's and Tashi gets up and yells like she did earlier, "Come on!"
Right.
And cut.
It's great. I love this. Okay.
Okay, Ryan.
Yeah.
What did you like about this movie?
I liked these moments of hidden messages. This is what I like about this director, and it takes you back to Call Me By Your Name.
Call Me By Your Name.
The way it's written, it is heavily, you're leaning heavily on the actor's physical performance to tell the story.
Yes.
And this is where all these three actors killed it.
Yeah.
Their physical performance in this, their eyes, their lips, their body language toward one another.
Well, it's very physical. The filming is so physical.
Very physical.
Yeah.
It's shot very physically, where there's multiple shots of like people's body parts.
Lots of thighs.
Lots of thighs. Someone commented
into it. I'm a thigh gal. Love to see it.
Hey, no complaints. It was just saying the way that it's physically, it's a physical movie.
Yeah.
The way it was shot, the way it is acted. And I loved that. I loved the acting performances from all these.
Yeah. I love it.
Loved that. Loved the vibe of the movie. Like you said, the hotel room, excellently done. Like it looks like the interior of a hotel room, but just the right hotel room.
Yeah.
The colors, the costumes.
Yes.
The scene on the beach with Zendaya on the rock and the two boys sitting in the chairs, just like looking at her as if she was like this masterpiece, like this painting. It's like taking that in. It's those sorts of directing elements that I absorb, and I absolutely loved it. So was the story meh? Could they've done more to like develop these characters to give us this, like really strong, like you said, on the way back watching it, where she's more the manipulator in this circumstance? Yes, they could have, but I'm okay with the movie the way that it was. It's not what I expected at all.
No, same.
And it was something else entirely, but I didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
I liked it. Okay. So that's what I liked about it.
Yeah. To go off your statements, I loved the imagery, and they always, we've mentioned triangle a lot. They always had shots of the three of them were often with like Zendaya in the middle and those two over here. Like even the hotel room scene, she's in the middle while they're kissing. Her on the rocks. She's over here. They're over here. The tennis match at the end. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. And
love that tennis shot at the end.
Oh, it's so good. I loved, they're all so messy and realistic. And she, especially Tashi, is so fascinating. She's so disciplined. They show her like as an 18-year-old, she lives and breathes tennis, and she's the best. And she wants to continue to be the best. And while I wish they would have made her more of a master manipulator when it came to Art and Patrick, I'm okay with how it ended up. Yeah. I mean, and maybe that's marketing. They really made it seem like it was going to be some kind of throuple erotic thriller.
They did.
And it really wasn't. Maybe not an erotic thriller, but like an erotic story. Yeah.
And
it is.
And to us, we know that it is, because there's clearly elements in there that are pointing in that direction. So there is a lot of that in there. And so be warned, Yeah,
there is lots of male nudity, full frontal, and I'm into it.
Yeah.
There's no actual sex, which I'm cool with.
No, that's what was great about this movie.
I loved it. I actually really loved it.
I'm glad that we didn't get that.
It was still so sexy.
But they gave it to us in a way that it was like, oh, that's hot, or this is sexy. But you didn't need the scene where it's going to be like, okay, here they go.
Here's like gratuitous sex.
Right. No.
Yeah, and I really loved the chemistry between Tashi and Patrick.
Love that.
And that goes to the name challengers. She was intrigued by him because he challenged her. When they're in her dorm room having the big fight, he gets in her space.
Pushes back.
He is not. Art is like, what do you need? I worship the ground you walk on.
Right. He's a simp.
And that works.
It works.
And that's why, again, sometimes I wish it would have been some kind of throuple, because then she could have gotten what she needed from Art
and him
and from Patrick.
I mean, they all could have gotten what
they
needed
could
from
have.
one another if they would have communicated better, and both of them would have been a bit more mature. But
listen, this is going in my pantheon, my bisexual film pantheon, because I got The Mummy, and then we've got Challengers. The Mummy is great. I love that movie.
No, I liked this movie for what it was.
Yes.
It was not what I expected, but I did like it for what it was, for those many reasons that we said. I think we got the foreplay and we got the afterplay, and I think both of those things are just as important as anything that you'd see in the middle of it. And it worked. The chemistry worked. These actors were believable. Patrick as down and out was believable.
Yes. Josh O'Connor is a star.
Patrick being the schmuck that is just trying to stir the pot or not take shit or talk shit, believable.
Mm-hmm.
Art being a simp, believable. Art's obsession with Tashi, believable.
Yeah.
Her challenges and her issues, her smugness, all of these things were very believable from these characters and from these actors, and I loved it. And there's no one else in the film.
No, you see other people, right? You have an interaction with the woman at the beginning who's the receptionist at the new Challenger.
Yeah.
You
meet the blind date.
You meet meet Tashi's mother. We don't get her name. You meet Tashi and Art's daughter, Lily, but that's it. And they're
all peripheral characters. They're no
set pieces almost.
There's probably no one that was even maybe they were featured.
They must have, because they got full camera time, but
But
I mean,
this
look,
movie did it. The soundtrack, we can unpack it and discuss it, and I'm still not fully sold on how it was
utilized,
how it played out.
Yeah.
But the songs that were written and composed and used were all wonderful.
I really enjoyed it, and it is now available to rent on Prime. So if you haven't watched it, pour yourself a glass of wine, settle in, make sure your children are in bed, and watch Challengers. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. What's something else that you're into this week?
Okay, so I have been into this new limited series on Netflix called Bodkin.
Yeah, okay.
So Bodkin on Netflix is about a group of podcasters who set out to investigate a mysterious disappearance of... I'm going to start all over again. So I'm watching Bodkin on Netflix, Bodkin. This is a limited series about a group of podcasters...
Like me?
That
like
set
us?
out to investigate a mysterious disappearance of 3 strangers in an idyllic Irish town. Okay. Checking my boxes. You've got my attention at podcasters.
Check.
Investigating a mystery.
Check.
Disappearance of 3 strangers.
Check.
Idyllic Irish town. Dun, 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 dun.
That's your wheelhouse for sure.
This is a great cast. This show is hitting the spot because... It's checking all these boxes for me, but it's also very well written. It's not your typical, we're going to hit you over the head with the Irish like cliches and it's going to be leprechauns and, clover fields. I mean, this is like if you were to go to Ireland and
love it,
chill out in a small town for a few weeks.
And
anyway, it's very well written. And Will Forte, I'm not usually a fan of SNL actors when they try to switch over into something that's not really their genre. But in this capacity, he's trying, and it comes through. So I highly recommend it. Watch it on Netflix.
Okay.
What are you into, Jenny?
I am currently into the Netflix series One Day, which is based off of a 2011 film, One Day, starring Anne Hathaway.
Oh, the romantic comedy.
It's not really a romantic comedy. It's a drama.
Oh, okay. It's a rom-dram.
It's a rom-dram.
Okay, cool.
And that's based off of a book. Last night was one of those nights that, on the couch with my husband. What are we going to watch? He was watching Selling OC. Because the man loves those shows. But he also loves a British period piece.
Yes, he does.
So we clicked on One Day. Okay. And it starts in the 80s. It's about 2 people, Emma and Dexter, who meet on graduation night 1988. And their relationship over subsequent years. And I loved the film, cried like a baby. This is going to be a series, so I'm interested to see what kind of changes they make. Already, there's some really good changes.
Same actors?
No. Okay. So the actors are, let me pull that up. So Leo Woodall plays Dexter Mayhew, rich London boy, very posh.
Okay.
And Ambika Maud plays Emma Morley. She's from Leeds. She is working class, Her mother is Hindu and her father is Catholic. It's interesting because the movie is very white, you know, with the main characters. And this is already showing
some promise.
Cool. Because the United Kingdom is a very multicultural.
They are.
Anyway, it's really,
we get it.
We watched the first episode last night. It was really cute. Cannot wait for the kids to go to bed tonight so we can watch episode 2.
Okay, so you're on the series.
It's on the series.
Did he watch the movie?
No, but I watched it with his cousin, who, when she visited, and she was like, "You've got to watch this," and I again cried like a baby.
Okay,
it's great.
Is that on? Is it streaming on Netflix?
I don't know where you can find the film. I think you would like the film.
One day
on Netflix.
That sounds so familiar. I love Anne Hathaway.
I know you do. You would like this movie. She's got a great British accent in this movie. Okay.
Watch her read a menu.
For our final segment.
Okay. What's unhinged this week?
What's unhinged this week? Dear Lord. Okay. A district judge in Indiana has ruled that a taco is considered a sandwich.
Nonsense.
We are from Texas. I have grown up in this state where tacos abound. A taco is not a sandwich. That is...
More specifically, he quotes a Mexican style sandwich. Sir. And what's his name? Bobby Gary or Gary Bobby? It's like the whitest name. Yeah, Judge Bobby Bobay.
Judge, you're fooling.
Sir.
Y'all don't know that.
Order in the court.
Point of order.
Point of order, Your Honor. Objection.
Unfucking hinged.
It's unhinged. Okay.
A taco is its own category.
He includes a burrito in the same category.
Burrito is not a sandwich.
New York Times, which is
we'll
Tuesday,
link it in our show notes.
New York Times story about this judge in Indiana saying that tacos and burritos, quote unquote, were Mexican style sandwiches. And this is in order for a restaurateur to get like a permit in order for him to open his business and operate because of local zoning designations.
This is insane.
It's insane that we have to like differentiate in this sort of way. But in Michigan, a few years back, a judge actually had ordered that tacos were not sandwiches. So I guess it depends on what state you live in. The Supreme Court's left it up to the states, folks. So you can have a sandwich taco in Indiana, or you can have a taco in Michigan and Texas. Speaking of tacos.
Oh, what a segue. What is unhinged this week for you, right? Good God.
And also, a hot dog is not a sandwich.
If you think a hot dog is a sandwich, just turn your podcast off. I don't even
Thanks
care.
for tuning in, but we'll find other listeners.
Actually, no, please listen. We need listeners.
Actually, please listen and send us comments.
Yeah. But if you eat your hot dog sandwich, we don't care. Okay. What do you want to talk about? That's unhinged.
Last night, I turned on the Ashley Madison documentary.
I have hovered and then I backed away. I can't do it.
There are moments where I'm like, I got to turn this off. I just really need to turn this off. That I know where this is. I know how this ends. We all know how this ends. But they do a really good job of talking to the staff that worked for Ashley Madison for years and where the website came from, where they were going with it, how they got involved, and how all of them knew like it was what it was. They knew there was no security.
Oh.
They admit it. They're like, we were more focused on subscribers than we were security. So all the assurances that they were giving to people was bullshit. But there are 2 or 3 case studies that they follow through here of couples that were on it. One is the Christian couple where he went viral for, this is so weird.
Oh, God.
For surprising his wife with a pregnancy test.
What?
Versus usually it's like the wife that's like, guess what? I'm
no.
pregnant. He went viral on YouTube, this couple, for he went to the toilet with a pregnancy test after she had used it and it came back positive, and then he
did
surprised
she not flush?
her. I guess she didn't flush. I don't know. It was weird. This very conservative, like evangelical Christian couple that are trying to be like, hey, we're this great family. They go viral. They love the attention. They love the money. They think that they're spreading Christianity.
Sure.
And guess what?
He's on Ashley Madison.
His email is linked. And so you get to hear his perspective.
I don't care.
And, he's part of him is very remorseful. And then the other part of it is still a lot of, God, this and that. But he does call out a lot of stuff that he said when he rewatches it. And he's like, yeah, that was bullshit.
Okay.
So there is some of that. You get her perspective, which she's like, obviously, what the fuck did I get myself into? And humiliated. And then there's another couple where, the wife comes home and the email list has been leaked online and the husband was fired from his job and he unalives himself.
I remember that.
So there's that. And then there's one other story that's in there. Anyway, it is completely unhinged. As so many people's lives, millions of people's lives turned upside down
by that. Yeah.
By this website. And anyway, it's fascinating look at what happened.
Yeah.
How it happened, how the company prepared or didn't, how they responded to it. And then you get these 2 or 3 real life stories of people who were affected by this data leak and what it meant. So I haven't finished it. There's 3 episodes.
Oh, that's not bad.
I have finished episode 1 and 2, and I'll finish episode 3 tonight. But it's unhinged, Jenny. Yeah.
It is unhinged. And the guy who was on 13, 28 Kids and Counting, the oldest son, have they mentioned him?
No, but they mentioned a lot of celebrities. They mentioned government officials. They said that
all those evangelicals,
13% of the users, and there were 38 million, I think, users, like 13% had .military or .gov, US.military.gov email addresses.
You're not even going to make a burner email? People are fucking stupid.
Exactly. Yeah, they get to that. They talk. They unpack it. They're like, come on.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Wait,
thank you.
Is that how you do it, Jenny?
What?
You got to get you a burner email?
Who?
Huh?
What? Who said that? Probably my political opponents who were too busy on Ashley Madison. Okay. Anywho.
Objection.
Thank you for tuning in to Once More Unhinged. These episodes come out every Wednesday. And be sure to check out our latest episodes of Once More, a rewatch podcast, which come out every Friday.
That's right.
And be sure to check us out on social media. We are on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Once More Podcast. We are on X at the Once More Pod. Send us an email at oncemorepodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Once More is produced by Jen Katz and Ryan something. And our cover art is... Oh, wait.
This one's us. We did our...
And our cover art is us. Thanks for tuning in to Once More Unhinged.
Yeah, I'm Jen Katz.
And I'm Ryan something.
Stay unhinged.
Ciao.
Let's go get tacos.
Sign up for Ashley Madison.